Chapter 1867. A powerful spatial force sealed the area around Lin Xian and Wang Xintong. Now, what use is the space that you rely on for survival? The elder looked mockingly at Lin Xian. He believed that Lin Xian was at his wit's end and was a sitting duck, but in fact, Lin Xian was delighted to see this scene. Do you think you're on the second level, while Lin Xian is on the first level? In fact, Lin Xian, is on the fifth level. Lin Xian wants to ensure the safety of the bomb. Now, all of your attention is on him and Wang Xintong, so the bomb is safe. Then, Lin Xian's goal has been achieved. Do you think space is a huge problem for a spatial elemental warrior at the third stage of the heavenly Tao realm? Lin Xian said. Child's talk. The elder's eyes focused. Kill him. The heavenly Tao realm 6-star expert who had just arrived said nonchalantly. No problem. I'll deal with this lass. I'll leave the man to Elder Zhan. Elder Zhan's gaze locked onto Lin Xian. Hand of God. Then, a gigantic phantom arm smashed at Lin Xian, as though it wanted to smack Lin Xian to death. And this might was indeed able to deal great damage to Lin Xian. But, boom, the hand firmly held Lin Xian in place. Wang Xintong, who was fighting another elder, obviously saw this scene, but she wasn't too worried. She knew Lin Xian's strength very well. Ignoring the present, Lin Xian could even fight a warrior at that realm in the past. Therefore, Lin Xian was definitely fine. The heavenly Tao realm's 6-star elder laughed. What are you laughing at? Suddenly, Lin Xian's voice came from the dust cloud. He frowned and turned around again. Lin Xian was standing there. Good lad, you're not simple. His attack had hit him, but he didn't seem to be affected at all. It was a little ridiculous. He was indeed very shocked. Interesting. The old man narrowed his eyes. Then let this old man test your strength. On the rooftop, this human is pretty strong, eh? To think that he could hold on for so long against Elder Zhan. It's a little powerful. I even feel that this kid didn't use his full strength. You didn't use your full strength? That shouldn't be the case, right? Third elder, you are too sensitive. He's a 3-star heavenly Tao realm warrior. It's already impressive for him to last this long against the 6-star Elder Zhan. How can you say that he didn't use his full strength? That wouldn't make sense. Could it be that he can defeat Elder Zhan with his full strength? An old man chuckled. Haha, that's true. But after so long, Elder Zhan had yet to take him down. They knew Elder Zhan's strength very well. In the beginning, he was fighting with the attitude of having some fun. But later on, he had already used extremely powerful strength, but he was still unable to do anything to the warrior in front of him who had a low cultivation realm. This was a little strange. Still, Lin Xian looked at the time and felt that it was about time. Little Xintong, it's about time. Lin Xian said. Got it. Shua. A spatial heavenly bead appeared in their hands at the same time. What? Upon seeing the duo's identical actions, the people watching the show immediately felt that something was amiss. I've played with you for too long. It's about time. Then, let's meet again in Lin and City. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled slightly. Play? Upon hearing Lin Xian's words, they frowned. Something was amiss. Something was really amiss. You want to run? What right do you have to run? That Elder Zhan pointed at Lin Xian and said, with such a powerful spatial enchantment here, what right do you have to run? Bye-bye. Then, Lin Xian and Wang Xintong disappeared. What? Seeing that they had really left, they were shocked. In other words, just now, they had been fighting for so long. In fact, from the beginning, they could have escaped through the spatial enchantment. Then why didn't they run? Why did they fight for so long before running? Something was amiss. Something was very amiss. Quick! The old man shouted loudly. Quickly check the surroundings and see what they were doing here. Yes. On the other side, Lin Xian released his spatial attribute and disappeared. Now, Lin Xian and Wang Xintong could use their spatial attribute without restraint because the demon race wouldn't have enough time. Uncle Morong, it's done. You can detonate it now. Lin Xian was talking to Morong phone. Have you left Tianhua City? Lin Xian, I have a spatial attribute. I have already left. You can detonate it now. Okay. Morong phone put down his phone. detonated. Just as Lin Xian and Wang Xintong arrived at the edge of Tianhua City exploded. Loud sounds came from several locations in Tianhua City. At the same time, several mushroom clouds formed above Tianhua City. The powerful shockwave razed Tianhua City to the ground in a short period of time. The loud sound shook Lin'an City. Damn! What happened? What happened to Tianhua City? Damn! Did they throw a few nuclear bombs at Tianhua City or something? The power of this bomb is about the same as a nuclear bomb, right? Fuck your mother. Wait a minute. Didn't they say that the demon beasts of the 15th Demon God Palace were gathered in Tianhua City? This bomb explosion means that the 15th Demon God Palace suffered heavy losses? Then this must be our human race's plan. No one knew how many casualties the 15th Demon God Palace had suffered, but their losses this time were definitely much greater than their previous ambush with water and lightning. Martial artists could defend against the power of a nuclear bomb when they reached the heavenly venerable realm. To truly defend against a nuclear bomb, one had to be at the great virtual realm, which referred to close-range defense. Then, how many demon beasts were above the heavenly venerable realm in an army of tens of millions? 1%. As mentioned before, in a war of this level, either the difference in strength was huge or the difference in strength was not huge. Victory or defeat depended on the army. Now, the two Demon God Palace's armies had suffered heavy losses. They had basically lost the ability to take down Lin'an City. The entire human race was in an uproar for the second time. Some places had already started to fight. When they heard the news of the two great victories, their fighting spirits soared. Bang! In the myriad demon alliance. Bastards! Bastards! This old man said that the undead clan of the 15th Demon God Temple is a bunch of arrogant trash. Sure enough, this was clearly a tragedy that could have been avoided, but they just happened to encounter it. Bastards. Chapter 1868. Trash. The members of the Myriad Demon Alliance were so angry that they were dumbfounded. Two major defeats in a few days. This kind of defeat was devastating to the demon clan. What they had lost was not only countless demon warriors, but also their morale. Now, the war on the continent had not really started yet. Only a few places had started fighting. However, this kind of thing had happened twice in a row. They had suffered countless losses. What could the demon clan do? The demon clan's morale had plummeted, while the human clan's morale had risen. The demon clan might be at a disadvantage in the following war. Morale was especially important for such a war. The human clan was a race that was easily influenced by emotions. They were easily united and could easily erupt with very powerful combat strength. In addition, this kind of thing had happened twice. The Myriad Demon Alliance firmly believed that the human clan would erupt with very powerful combat strength in the following war. Then what should we do now? Continue to attack the human clan? An old man asked. Not for now. The human clan's morale is too high. We can only delay for a few more days. Inform the other demon god palaces to delay the attack for 2 days. But if we delay it now, the human clan can make a lot of preparations. The old man pondered for a moment. Bastard. He was furious. The 7th Demon God Palace and the 15th Demon God Palace. Damn it. Why didn't this happen in other places? Why did it happen in Lin and City one after another? What? 5th Elder. Do you want to cause trouble in other places? The 5th Elder quickly shook his head and said, It's not like that. Why didn't the other places experience the same thing? Is it Lin Xian? Hearing the 5th Elder's words, many people began to think carefully. Lin Xian, they pondered for a moment. By the way, according to the 15 Demon God Palace, could the person who went to Tianhua City also be Lin Xian? Darkness, space, and realm. It's very likely that it's Lin Xian. They nodded. That is to say, the variable is very likely to come from Lin Xian, someone said. It's possible. Long ago, this Lin Xian repeatedly foiled our demon race's plans. It's already happened many times. Now, it's related to him twice in a row. Bastard. Then should we get rid of this Lin Xian? This Lin Xian is indeed a difficult person to deal with. Regardless of whether it is to get rid of him in the future or to take revenge, there should be no problem in getting rid of him. Getting rid of him won't be easy, an old man said. That's right. In addition to the opportunity, his realm is not low. Unless we can kill him in an instant or ensure that he can't escape from a certain place, we can't kill him. Otherwise, just like what happened in the 15th Demon God Temple this time, Lin Xian easily escaped from such a strong bounded domain. What can we do? I must find an opportunity to kill this Lin Xian. On the other side, in Lin City, the triumphant return of Lin Xian and the others attracted countless cheers and screams from the crowd. In the beginning, Lin Xian was a genius, but he was looked down upon by many people. Many people were even jealous of him, causing them to feel unbalanced in their hearts. But now, from the perspective of the human race, these things were enough to make them admire Lin Xian. They really did admire Lin Xian. Well done. Morong Feng patted Lin Xian and the others on the shoulder. Those people from the 15th Demon God Temple were too careless. They didn't think of this. If it were another Demon God Temple, it might not have been so easy. Lin Xian said, "Success is success. No need to be modest. You have made a great contribution to the human race. On behalf of the human race, I thank you." Lin Xian scratched his head. "Let's talk about the rewards later. After this matter is over, let's celebrate." Lin Xian nodded. Okay, you all go and rest." Lin Xian and the others then walked away. "Everyone, we now have 1 or 2 more days to prepare. The demon race will definitely not attack the human race at this juncture because their morale is low. Our morale is high. I hope that we can maintain this feeling of high morale until the end of the battle." Morong Feng shouted to the soldiers. "Yes, our human race has won 2 battles. You all should have seen it. The demon race is actually nothing to be afraid of. Compared to our human race, they are still inferior. Then, in this war between the human race and the demon race, what are we afraid of? What do we need to be afraid of? We need to show them our own morale and let them see." All this time, the demon race only felt good about themselves. They thought that they were very strong and thought that it was child's play for them to take down the human race. Now, I believe that they are very uncomfortable in their hearts. They definitely don't think so anymore. Ha ha! Everyone laughed loudly. However, I hope that everyone will not be arrogant. An arrogant army is bound to be defeated. This has been a principle since ancient times. I hope that we can fight every battle perfectly. Lin Xian and the others have already given us 2 good openings. We must continue. Understood. Prepare for battle at any time. Yes. Morong Feng and the group of elders then went to the conference room. Palace Master Morong, I have an idea. Morong Feng nodded. Please speak. Right now, our soldiers' morale is so high. Why should we wait for the demon race to attack us? Morale is an emotion that comes and goes quickly. When the demon race attacks again, I think our advantage will be reduced by a lot. I suggest that we don't wait for the demon race to attack us. We should take advantage of the current situation and attack the demon race. I think that there is nothing that we can't do. They were all pondering. This is a big matter. We need to discuss it carefully. Morong Feng muttered. I don't really agree. First, we originally had an advantage in defensive battles. Right now, our defense has turned into offense. This is equivalent to ruining our defensive advantage. Moreover, we are not used to the chaotic battles outside. Our advantage will be ruined. Although morale is important, I estimate that the losses won't be small. However, if it is a chaotic battle, the demon race won't have an advantage in defense. At this time, it will purely depend on both sides. I think that there are risks and we can try. However, whether we should try or not is a very big matter. We need more people to make this decision. Chapter 1869. This matter was really a very big deal. It must be known that if they simply followed the current strategy of waiting for the monster race to attack while they defended, this should be the best and the risk should be the least. But now, if they wanted to forcefully attack, they would have to bear a huge risk. But, although there was a risk, the benefits could be huge too. This would require the higher-ups to make a huge decision. This matter, we really need to consider it. I think to be safe, Why don't we do this for now? For now, this should be the best. The risk is the least, although the benefits may be the least, but at least for us, the lower the losses, the higher the benefits. Let's do this for now. The real battle will come next. Little Xian, you have to be careful of the demon's revenge. Linya reminded Lin Xian as she sat together with him. Because the roles were reversed. Think about it. As the attacker, you were targeted time and time again by the same person. You suffered huge losses at his hands. Don't you resent him? You must hate him to death. It might have been fine in the past, but the last 2 times might even cause the monster race to lose the war against the human race. Therefore, the monster race must be thinking of ways to kill Lin Xian. Sister, don't worry, I'm not worried about that. Lin Xian smiled as he held Linya's hand. To me, I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried about them attacking me, but I'm worried that they'll threaten all of you because of me. Linya pondered for a moment. Don't worry, I'm fine. If I can take care of the others, I'll take care of them. Also, there's Ling Long and the others. Lin Xian nodded. So sister, don't worry too much about me. Got it. Linya nodded as well. I want a kiss. Lin Xian said suddenly. Linya thought she heard wrongly. Then, Lin Xian leaned over and kissed Linya's red lips. The current Linya didn't seem to have changed much compared to the past. Her personality was still the same, gentle. She was especially gentle to Lin Xian and her friends, but was cold to outsiders. However, because of the improvement of her temperament, she loved them even more. Especially Lin Ya's snow-white hair. Lin Xian's heart ached for his snow-white hair, but he had to admit that it did add a bit of beauty to him. It was a unique beauty and temperament. After a long while, Lin Xian finally let go of Linya. He licked his lips and smiled at her. Linya patted Lin Xian. That's too much. Hee. The worst is yet to come. Lin Xian grinned at Linya. No. Linya guessed something and pushed Lin Xian away. Why not? I don't care. Today, whether you agree or not, you have to do it. Lin Xian pounced on her. Linya. In the end, Lin Xian didn't do anything to Linya. He couldn't bear to. To Lin Xian, Linya would always be the most special one. Linya was definitely Lin Xian's girl, but Lin Xian wanted to do it with her at the best time. There was nothing wrong with that, right? Get out of my way. Linya pushed Lin Xian away in disdain. You're disgusted with me. Linya straightened her clothes and rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. You're already so old, yet you're still so flirtatious. Linya knocked Lin Xian on the head. Hey, why do I need to be serious in front of you? Why are you flirtatious in front of me? Lin Xian giggled and grabbed her hand. I like being flirtatious with you. You're getting more and more flirtatious. In the past, Lin Xian would at least get physical with her and rarely express anything verbally. But now, Lin Xian was so lustful. Be nicer to those girls in the future. I'm pretty nice to them. Yeah, but you have to spend more time with them. I know you don't have much time, but you have to take responsibility for messing with so many girls. Lin Xian scratched his head. I know. Well, I've been with Fan and the others for the past few days. They can understand you and haven't said anything, but they all hope that you can spend more time with them. Lin Xian nodded. I know. It just so happens that the situation is a little special during this period of time. Things have been happening one after another. I really can't do anything about it. I've already told them about it. Anyway, it's good that you know what you're doing. Of course, I'll spend more time with them in the next 2 days before the humans and demons start fighting. Okay, but it's best if you spend time with them one by one. Of course, I said best. That way, they'll feel better. Lin Xian nodded. 2 days passed just like that. In these 2 days, the demons were more or less done with their preparations. As for the humans, they didn't make any moves. They have been working hard to defend against the demons' large-scale attack. In the other border cities of the 4 empires, the battle hadn't stopped for the past 2 days. Fortunately, the humans weren't weak either. It wasn't a big problem for them to hold off the demons for the time being. They were just worried that something unexpected would happen. Outside Lin and City, the 7th, 9th, and 15th Demon God's Temple had already gathered in 3 different locations. The human army was already waiting for them outside Lin and City. It was densely packed. Lin Xian and the others were also gathered here. This battle had to be carried out outside Lynn and City, because once the battlefield entered Lynn and City, it meant that Lynn and City would be in a half-lost state. Therefore, the first step of the defensive battle was to prevent the demon army from entering the human cities. The cities of the human race were protected by powerful barriers. This was something that could be guaranteed in certain aspects. However, once the battlefield entered the human cities, the city would indeed be in a half-lost state. However, there weren't many residents left in Lynn and City. Think about it. When this kind of situation happened, they would definitely run to a safe place. The entire Lynn and City was filled with soldiers. They were all human warriors and those who had volunteered to join the battle. Lin Xian, Xiao Runing, I'll hand over the command of your million-strong army to you. Is that all right? Murong Feng walked over and said to Lin Xian and Xiao Runing, "Let Miss Xiao do it. As for me, I'll go with the team to deal with some demon experts." Lin Xian said. Xiao Runing nodded. "That's fine too. I have no objections." "That's good." At this moment, the mountains roared and the seas roared. In the distance, dust filled the sky. Chapter 1870. The 7th, 9th, and 15th armies of the Demon God Temple had already reached the city. They were only about 5 kilometers away. 5 kilometers was the distance to the barrier outside the human city. No, that wasn't it. It was the distance to the human army. Don't think that 5 kilometers is a long distance. It is, but think about it. 10 million soldiers are still 5 kilometers away from the boundary of the human race. What kind of number is 10 million soldiers of the demon race? 5 kilometers is too close. Reporting. According to our calculations, there are about 20 million soldiers attacking Linen City. They're all in front of us. The scout reported. Murong Feng frowned. They're all in front of us? There are very few in other places? Yes, very few. It's almost negligible. Then, those people began to discuss something. 20 million isn't a small number. If there weren't the previous 2 attacks, it would be about the same as our estimates. The number of soldiers attacking this time might reach 40 million or even more. However, the fact that they're sending all of their forces to attack us, the demon race is going all in. Because think about it, a city wasn't like the ancient cities where you could just attack the main gate. In fact, even if you wanted to attack a city, you wouldn't just attack the main gate. You could attack the city walls from many positions. However, you can attack a city from dozens or even hundreds of kilometers away from the city at the same time. And now, the demon race was only attacking this place. This was quite abnormal. Normal people wouldn't do this. But after thinking about it, it seemed that they could think of some possibilities. Could it be because the previous 2 attacks caused the demon race's army to suffer disastrous losses? Now that they have lost the capital to attack in a large area, they're thinking of gathering their forces to attack this place? It can be considered as cutting off all means of retreat. There is this possibility. There's another possibility. They want to lure the tiger away from the mountain or cross the sea by deceiving us. On the surface, the main battlefield is here. But in reality, when we move the soldiers from other places here, the other places will suddenly attack. Or perhaps they want to focus all our attention here so that they can attack from other places. This is also possible. Murong Feng muttered to himself. Let's not worry about it for now. We should be able to defend this place. Try not to attack other places. If there are experts, send some reinforcements. Don't leave all of them. This is to prevent the demon race from using a trick. Do everything in the most careful way. We must avoid any accidents. Murong Feng ordered. Yes, this was because the reason was very simple. This enchantment was actually equivalent to a protective umbrella for the human race. Once the enchantment was broken, this line of defense would be lost. When the human race fought, they were very worried about the Fae invading the human race's cities. Because human cities were complicated and full of skyscrapers, every place, every room, every corner could hide demonic beasts. Even if a certain number of demonic beasts broke into a human city, it would cause great danger and destruction. Of course, it was still okay for now because the people of Lin and City had basically been evacuated. It was just that if a certain number of demon beasts entered the city, it would be half lost. The difficulty of this battle would increase tremendously. The human race had to prevent such a thing from happening, and the demon race had a very high chance of doing so. This was because it would be foolish to gather forces to attack a single point. Of course, this did not rule out the possibility that they wanted to forcefully disperse this point. The demon army had arrived. Lin Xian and the girls stood there, ready to fight like everyone else. When the demon race army arrived, many people began to feel fear in their hearts at the sight of the densely packed demon race army. Under normal circumstances, even if there were so many people standing in front of everyone, it would be scary enough, let alone demonic beasts. Demon beasts looked even more terrifying, ferocious, or even bigger. The pressure they exuded was still very great. In front of the demon army was a group of demon experts. These were definitely not all of them. Most likely, there were even more demon race experts not too far away from them. However, there were quite a number of demon experts. There were more than 10,000 of them. This scale was indeed somewhat terrifying. But on second thought, this was still considered a small number. This was a war between humans and demons. It was very normal for more than 10,000 demon experts to lead this army. There were many humans as well. These 10,000 were definitely not all at the heavenly Tao realm. Although there were quite a number of them, they were not weak either. Furthermore, this was a simple battle at a single point. To have so many of them, and not to mention that they were not all of them, was already quite impressive. Leading them were two white-haired elders and a person who looked relatively younger. They were likely 3 Fey gods from the Fey God Temple. Who is the one who can speak for you humans? An elder stood there with his hands behind his back. He looked especially impressive, as though he was already the victor. He was even filled with disdain for humans. Morong Fong stood forward. Why? Does the second patriarch of the undead want to give me a cordial greeting before the battle? Morong Fong laughed heartily. Then, since you know that I'm leading the undead here, hand over Lin and City obediently. State your conditions. After Lin and City is handed over, my undead race will withdraw from this war between humans and demons. What do you think? The elder said indifferently. These words were rather surprising. In fact, saying such words in front of the world and being a top expert was rather believable. It was really possible for them to withdraw. However, Lin and City was extraordinary. He only said that the undead would withdraw, but in fact, how many undead could there be? Tens of thousands of clansmen? It was true that they would bring great pressure to the human race, but they definitely wouldn't make a profit. Think about it. Not to mention how important Lin and City was just in terms of morale. The human race voluntarily giving up a city was simply slapping themselves in the face. Everyone from the undead race, you established the 15th Fey God Temple not long after coming into being. You stand on the opposite side of the human race. This isn't a problem, but isn't your words a bit too funny? If you want to live in Lin and City, my Lin and City, including the human race, will welcome you with open arms. But now that you've joined the Myriad Demon Alliance, you're saying such words. It's truly laughable. Murong Fong said. So you're not willing? Pong. A stone was thrown at the old man. The old man easily caught it and crushed it. His eyes focused as he looked in the direction the stone was thrown. Lin Xian smiled and said, I say, old man, you're really interesting. Then let me ask you, if a person has a wife, then comes to you and asks you to let him play with your wife. In the future, when he finds another wife, he won't touch her. Are you willing? There's something wrong with your head. Everyone. Chapter 1871. The undead elder angrily pointed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian of the human race? Of course, the undead elder recognized Lin Xian, especially when he saw Lin Xian throw a stone at him and say such words. It attracted the applause of the human race. Lin Xian's words directly sent them to the general side. Don't talk nonsense. Lin Xian said, either you fight or scram. What's the point of talking nonsense here? Do you think the undead race is so awesome? Do you think that you're kings just because you're standing here? Actually, that's not the case. To be honest, In the eyes of the human race, the undead race is only a group of people who used to be more powerful. However, you still can't make any big waves. So, don't think too highly of yourself. Well said. Murong Feng nodded. Everyone from the undead clan, we, the human clan, have already given you enough face. We respect your former status on the continent. Compared to enemies, we, the human clan, would prefer to be friends with you. However, since you are unwilling, we, the human clan, will not be nice to you anymore. I hope you can understand that respect is mutual. Murong Feng's aura then surged forth. As Murong Feng's aura surged forth, everyone else's aura also surged forth. The entire Linen City was shrouded in a terrifying aura. Oomph. The undead elder coldly snorted. To be honest, they were very superior because the undead race was a top-notch existence in the entire race. They were superior in their bones. However, because of the words of Lin Xian and Murong Feng, everyone felt that something was wrong, because what they said seemed to make sense. In fact, they felt that it made sense. Respect was mutual. Previously, the human race did not have any hostility towards the undead race. Even when the undead race came before the human race and confronted them, the human race's attitude had always been good. At the very least, they did not give off the feeling of being mortal enemies. They lost. In terms of structure, the undead race had been crushed by the human race. However, a battlefield was a battlefield. Since they had chosen to side with the demon race, they had to fight against the human race. Good. Since that's the case, let's not waste any more words. The auras of all the undead surged. Then, the 7th, 9th, and 15th demon god palaces released their auras at the same time. All the experts of the human race and the monster race unleashed their auras at the same time. Their strength was unimaginable. Everyone, listen up. The undead clan elder shouted. Kill them. Roar. Then, countless demonic beasts charged towards them. Brothers, Murong Feng raised his arms and shouted, For our homeland, kill, kill, kill them. In the blink of an eye, countless forces from both sides clashed. There were some experts who rushed into the clouds, fighting in the void in the distance. Lin Xian looked at the girls beside him and said, Then let's kill them too. Yes. Following that, they rushed over. Zhao Yunqi and Xian and the others were also fighting, but they were fighting on a simpler battlefield. They were fighting a large number of demonic beasts below. Time slowly passed. Just like that, a day passed. That's right. Lin and City had been fighting for an entire day. No one knew how many demonic beasts had died, nor did they know how many humans had died. In short, the surrounding air was filled with the smell of blood. Running on the ground, they would sometimes trip, and what tripped them were the corpses on the ground. The ground under their feet was already soaked in blood. When they ran at full speed, they would sometimes step into a blood pit. Their entire body was covered in blood. On their faces and arms, it was unknown whether it was the blood of others or their own. However, as the battle progressed, everyone's fighting spirit became stronger. At the beginning of the battle, you would be afraid of death and be restrained. But as the battle progressed, the smell of blood would gradually make you lose your mind. Especially when others hit you, it would make you angry and reckless. And what made you lose your mind was exhaustion. Only when you were exhausted did you realize that you were still alone and needed to rest. Some people were already exhausted from the battle. They wanted to run to a place where there was no one, retreat, rest for a while, and then rejoin the battle. That was normal. But some people ran back, while others could not run in time or could not run at all. Under normal circumstances, this war between humans and demons would be counted in years. Even if Lin and City was taken down, there would be another city. The demons would continue to attack, and it would not be limited to Lin and City. And if humans lost Lin and City or another city, they would think of ways to take it back in this war. This was no longer a small fight. Lin Xian, we can't keep fighting like this. Ling Ying, who was covered in blood, flashed to Lin Xian's side, panting heavily. I know. Lin Xian nodded. It was not that they could not win, but the pace was too slow. Were they really going to fight for years? In this day's time, Lin Xian and the others' opponents were the undead race. How to put it? For humans, the undead race was indeed the most difficult to deal with, because of the undead race's special power, and Lin Xian and the others pulled the most difficult task onto themselves. They had to bear more pressure themselves. They had to bear as much as they could. They had to reduce the pressure on others as much as possible. The main thing is that we want to hold back more of them, but they are not fools. They will also choose to deal with us with as few people as possible. At first, the demons did not pay any price and sent a large number of experts to deal with Lin Xian and the others. Then they realized that they could not. They could beat them, but they could not kill them. Then they gave up and chose to use fewer people to hold back Lin Xian and the others. If you hold them back, they will hold them back too. Although Lin Xian and the others killed many of them, it was useless. Distant water could not quench the present thirst. No, I have to make them come to me. Lin Xian. How? Simple. Lin Xian looked at the battlefield in the distance where the demons and humans were fighting. Whoosh! Then Lin Xian flashed over. Law of destruction. Whoosh! Countless demonic beasts within a 10,000-meter radius all fell to the ground in unison. And this scene instantly attracted the attention of the demons. No, we still have to kill that Lin Xian. He has the law of destruction. Chapter 1872. Lin Xian's law of destruction was known by others, but not many people knew about it. Not many humans knew about it, let alone the demon race. They only knew that Lin Xian had the law of creation. This was something that everyone knew. Unfortunately, not many people knew about the law of destruction, and Lin Xian's strength was extremely exaggerated. Others might have the law of destruction, but their destructive power was definitely incomparable to Lin Xian's. Moreover, if you as a top-notch expert were to attack a crowd, you could be blocked by others. Then, the power that could destroy a large area would be useless. And the law of destruction could not be blocked at all. This was because the law of destruction was released with one's mind. It was instantaneous, and Lin Xian was now at the 3-star Heavenly Tao realm. The range and strength of a 3-star Heavenly Tao realm's law of destruction was unimaginable. In the blink of an eye, a large area of demonic beasts had been cleared out by Lin Xian's law of destruction. There was only one outcome to this, and that was that the experts of the demon race would never allow Lin Xian to continue killing them in such a manner. Under such circumstances, he alone could cause a large area to break out of the encirclement. And against such strength, the Fey race really did not have many solutions. The only solution was to kill him, or rather, prevent him from having the energy to release the law of destruction. This was because the release of the law of destruction, especially the effects of the law of destruction, expended a lot of spiritual energy. Quick, a few more of you go and kill that Lin Xian first. Even if you can't kill him, you must not let him have the energy to release the law of destruction, shouted an elder from the 7th Fey Temple. Yes. Then, a group of experts charged at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's lips curled slightly. Wouldn't he have achieved his goal then? Be careful, Morong reminded him. Don't worry. 3 days later, that's right. Another 3 days. These 3 days passed by. It was unknown how many people had died. Some had even lost their consciousness from the battle. The demonic beasts retreated. It couldn't be helped. The 3 demon god palaces really couldn't take down Lin and City. There were too many soldiers defending Lin and City. In addition, a large group of powerful human experts were fighting with their lives on the line. Especially Lin Xian, he was too damn fierce. With so many Heavenly Tao realm experts pursuing him, he was the only one who returned. The other Heavenly Tao realm experts did not return. Then, he rested for a while before releasing the law of destruction to instantly kill large numbers of demon beasts. Then, the demon race sent out a large number of experts to hunt down Lin Xian. The cycle repeated itself. 3 days, 3 times. 3 times, they had lost over 100 Heavenly Tao cultivators. It's as if you think that hundreds of Heavenly Tao are nothing in this war between humans and demons. In fact, you only need to think about how terrifying the power of over 100 heavenly Tao cultivators erupting at the same time was, and you would know how great the loss of the demon race was. In a week's worth of battles in Lin and City, the demons probably didn't lose 100 heavenly Tao realm experts. However, all of them died at the hands of Lin Xian. If they didn't return, it clearly meant that they had been killed by Lin Xian. If they weren't killed, why couldn't they come or contact him? In fact, it was very, very difficult to kill a heavenly Tao realm expert, but Lin Xian was the most special person. This was because Lin Xian had the qualifications to kill a heavenly Tao realm expert. Phew! Outside Lin and City, everyone was slumped to the ground, gasping for breath. Countless wood and water elemental warriors had arrived to treat the injured. Then, the injured were brought to countless makeshift hospitals. There were even warriors dealing with the corpses. The entire space was filled with a terrifying smell of blood. Lin Xian and company sat in a corner. Lin Xian was smoking a cigarette while the others were drinking water, sleeping, or eating. Their bodies were covered in wounds and blood. However, Lin Xian used the laws of creation to make them feel relaxed. The blood and dust were gone. They could no longer raise their hands. Just raising their hands would cause them to tremble slightly due to their lack of strength. After fighting for 6 days and 6 nights, even though they were at the heavenly Tao realm, they could no longer withstand it. At this moment, they no longer wanted to get up. They didn't even want to move. Perhaps many others weren't as tired as them. This was because they had fought especially hard in this battle. They had not held back at all. They had done their best. They had really done their best. As for Lin Xian, he knew that the girls beside him, and Exen, were fine. He was relieved. This should be considered a complete victory for us. Lin Xian said. The few of them opened their eyes. Yeah, it feels like the demons are about to change targets. If they can't take down Lin and City, they will definitely change targets. Fortunately, the demonic beasts of the 3 demon god palaces had suffered heavy losses in the previous 2 battles. Otherwise, based on the situation of the past week, the possibility of Lin and City falling would be quite high. This was because with the 3 Fey temples suffering heavy losses, it was difficult for the humans to withstand them. Furthermore, it was built on the premise that their morale was extremely high. Therefore, Murong Feng and the other upper echelons immediately held an emergency meeting after the battle ended. The demons would not let the matter rest. The war between humans and demons had only just begun. After all, it was calculated by years. There's nothing we can do. We can only do our best. Lin Xian took a puff of his cigarette before stretching his back. At this moment, Murong Feng walked over. They stood up one after another. There's no need. Rest, Murong Feng said. Then they sat down. Uncle Murong, what's the mission? Murong Feng said. There's no mission for now. After all, the battle has just ended. A lot of specific data hasn't come out yet, including how the demons will move. Therefore, it's best not to act rashly. I'm here to see you. Lin Xian said, we're fine. It's just that we've been fighting for too long, so we're a little tired. Thank you for your hard work. Murong Feng patted Lin Xian's shoulder. All of us have seen your battles. We've seen how hard you've worked and how hard you've worked. Thank you for your hard work. It's my duty, Lin Xian said. Yeah, rest well. We're monitoring the movements of the demons. Maybe we'll need you to complete some mission. Lin Xian nodded. Okay, we understand. Well, rest well. I'll go first. Murong Feng left after saying that. Chapter 1873. Lin Xian and company lay there to rest. A day passed just like that. The demon race was already preparing for their second attack. This was because the demon race did not wish to give the humans a chance to catch their breaths. However, the demon race needed to catch their breaths as well. Therefore, they had an empty day. However, the demon race definitely needed some sort of plan. And this time, the experts from the Myriad Demon Alliance had arrived. Everyone, we have to take down the humans completely this time. Ever since we took down Lin and City, we have already achieved a great victory in the battle over at North Ice City. We have almost completely taken down North Ice City. Now, we're just waiting for your good news. An elder stood there and swept his gaze across everyone. In the previous battle, the undead had suffered the least losses. This was because the undead strength was evident. It was rather difficult to kill them. The few that died were killed instantly after being suppressed by their realms. Of course, there were also those that were killed by Lin Xian. I just don't understand how this Lin Xian managed to kill a few of our undead experts. The undead clan elder asked with a frown. Yeah, an elder from the Myriad Demon Alliance nodded. To be honest, I can't figure out what realm the undead were at when they pursued Lin Xian. 3-star. This 3-star was clearly at the Heavenly Dao realm. That Lin Xian is also at the Heavenly Dao realm. Furthermore, I also noticed that Lin Xian was alone. There were several Heavenly Dao experts pursuing Lin Xian, as well as a Heavenly Dao realm 3-star Heavenly Dao expert from her undead. However, none of them returned. In fact, it's very understandable that the Heavenly Dao realm 3-star undead expert must have perished. Therefore, I can't understand how a Heavenly Dao realm 3-star Lin Xian managed to kill so many people, including a Heavenly Dao realm 3-star undead. That's right. This Lin Xian is indeed the most special person I've seen in so many years. There's really no one like him. No matter if it's Su Qining or Mu Qinshuang, they're both incomparably powerful. They're also capable of many unimaginable and extraordinary feats. However, this human Lin Xian is capable of such feats. Therefore, even if he can't do much on his own in this war between the demon race and the human race, this Lin Xian is definitely not to be underestimated. Such a person's realm wasn't particularly high, but it would be too late by the time he reached a particularly high realm. Everything that happened before was impossible, but Lin Xian alone caused us to suffer unimaginable losses. So now, should we get rid of this Lin Xian first? An old man asked. I don't think that's necessary. Although this Lin Xian has a great enmity with us, at this critical juncture, we don't have to involve ourselves in such a big matter for one person, right? I don't think there's a need either. In fact, many of them felt that Lin Xian was indeed very powerful. He was indeed a headache for them, but there was really no need for that. However, there was a group of people who felt that it was necessary. No, I think it's the opposite. This Lin Xian is a person that requires us to expend a lot of effort to kill. The undead old man pondered for a moment before saying, I'm not only seeking revenge for the dead undead experts. Similarly, I've thought of something. This Lin Xian is no longer a simple 3-star Heavenly Dao realm warrior. His abilities, what he can do, and what he did in the past are not important. What's important is that I can now think of something. To the human race, Lin Xian has already become a faith. The undead old man continued. Calling a faith is indeed an overstatement, but think about what Lin Xian has done. As long as Lin Xian is still alive, and as long as Lin Xian kills a demon race expert, the human race's morale will be greatly boosted when they hear the news and see this scene. On the contrary, what if Lin Xian were to die? Another old man nodded. That's right. Although this Lin Xian isn't an important figure in the human race, he's no longer a simple figure in the hearts of those people. Perhaps they don't realize it themselves, but Lin Xian has already become an image of a leader in the hearts of the human race. Just like the leaders of the 3 major factions of the human race. If one of the leaders of the 3 major factions of the human race were to be killed, it would definitely be a huge blow to the human race. Their morale would plummet. This Lin Xian is already close to such an existence. That makes sense. His words received the approval of the crowd. Therefore, regardless of the reason, even if it's just for this reason, we have to kill Lin Xian. Furthermore, Lin Xian will definitely be easier to kill than the leaders of the 3 major factions of the human race. But how do we kill him? If it's on the battlefield, our target is obvious. If the human race's experts discover this scene, they can quickly reinforce their Heavenly Dao realm experts. It's impossible for them to kill Lin Xian. Furthermore, Lin Xian has a powerful spatial attribute. It's too difficult to kill him. Then we'll beat him at his own game, said the old man from the Myriad Demon Alliance. Doesn't this Lin Xian like to take on all the responsibility, he would rather deal with a few more heavenly Tao experts. Then we'll let him do it. We'll make preparations in advance. When he arrives at that place, we'll catch him like a turtle in a jar. We'll let him die there with no way of escaping. When the time comes, we'll bring Lin Xian's corpse over. The human race will probably be defeated. Understood. I have a rough idea of what to do. Yes, we'll do what we need to do. The human race is about to lose some places. They have invested a large number of people in Lin and City. And what we need to do is hold back this large number of people, preventing them from providing reinforcements to other places. That's right. The demon race's plan was actually very simple. It was so simple that anyone could think of it. Lin and City was very important. They had to defend Lin and City, so they poured a lot of effort into it. Then, all they needed to do was hold back the demon race. This was because there were reports of victories in other places. Of course, they didn't only need to hold back the demon race. After all, they had invested 3 demon god temples in the attack. They naturally hoped to take him down, but if they failed, they would hold him back. It was fine as long as they fought well in other places. This was because they were looking at the overall situation. It didn't matter if you won or lost. But now, Lin Xian was in danger. Chapter 1874. Lin Xian naturally didn't realize this. Even the human race didn't realize this. Lin Xian was ready for the next war between the human race and the demon race. What's the situation in front? The human race gathered outside. The demon race has finished preparing their army again and is preparing to attack Lin and City. Lin Xian asked, "Are they just going to attack Lin and City?" "That's right. That seems to be the case for now, but we can't say for sure if they will change their direction after taking action." "That's not right. They knew that the first attack failed, so why did they still choose to attack in this way?" Linging sat there and said while eating a lollipop. Even if she didn't know much about this, she knew that it shouldn't be like this. Because their goal is to pin down a large number of our human race's army in Lin and City. They're holding them back and waiting for the news from the other demon god palaces. We have invested a lot of effort, but we can't support them. So it's a huge loss for the human race. Morong Feng walked over and said, "Moreover, they might have wanted to see if they could break through Lin City, but they failed. So now it's more likely that they are trying to pin us down. So the appearance of the dragon vein in Lin and City isn't a good thing for us. Indeed, the appearance of the dragon vein made it impossible for them to lose it. If they could hold it, it would definitely be a good thing for the future. But the timing was too bad, so now they had to pay a bigger price. There's no other way. The dragon vein can't be handed over to the demon race. On the other hand, it's fortunate that the dragon vein isn't in the demon race. If it was, although we won't have this problem now, it won't be good news in the long run." An old man walked over and said faintly. Lin Xian nodded. "That's true. What's the Radiance Association doing?" The Radiance Association naturally didn't send out all of their experts, but they sent out a large number of top experts. The truly powerful ones haven't made a move yet. The Myriad Demon Alliance's top experts haven't made a move yet, so they won't make a move either. That was indeed the case. The human clan and the demon clan both had the power to restrain each other. If the demon clan had a very, very top existence, then the human clan would have one too. Since we know that the 7th, 9th, and 15th Fey God Palaces are trying to pin us down, why don't we send some of our forces to reinforce them? In any case, it shouldn't matter if we send out a portion of them. No. What if the demons are waiting for us to send some of them to reinforce other places? Therefore, the best way is to bide our time and not make any moves. We can trust them in other places. Besides, the demon race won't be easily defeated. They won't be able to break in. We just have to do what we should do. But you, the elder looked at Lin Xian and said, "Be careful. The demon race must hate you very much. I'm even worried that they will pay some price in exchange for your death in this battle." Lin Xian nodded. "I know what to do." "That's great." At this moment, a person ran over. "Report, the demons are on the move." Morong Feng then quickly looked at the map. "Which direction?" "It's the same one, Lin and City. It's the demons." In any case, they couldn't understand. It was reasonable for the three Fey god palaces to attack Lin and City, but after their failure, they still had to do this. They probably won't make any moves after coming over. They'll just pin us down. Then the demons came again. Everyone, since we've failed, is there a need to attack in the same way again? You don't think this battle is so trivial, do you? What if you humans can't hold on? An elder shouted, "Listen to my orders, attack." Murong Fong and the others were a little surprised. Something was wrong. The demons were a group of old foxes, and they were even a group of old foxes who had lived longer than them. They actually attacked the humans in the same way again. Something was wrong. Basically, no one thought that this would be the case, but the demons were like this. Therefore, there must be a demon behind this abnormality. They couldn't figure out where this demon was, so they could only fight. They probably couldn't imagine that the demons were willing to start another war just to kill Lin Xian, to create an opportunity to kill Lin Xian. That was all. It was ridiculous. Two armies were fighting a war, and they paid such a price to kill one person. It was ridiculous. Lin Xian and the others rushed out again. They didn't think too much. If Lin Xian could think of this, then it was a little ridiculous. The war was still going on. "Elder, should we attack now? That Lin Xian has already come out. There's no hurry." The undead elder said. "The war has just begun. Let that Lin Xian fight for a day. Let him exhaust himself, and, at the same time, let the other side make more preparations." Got it. Since they had already made such a big fuss over Lin Xian, what did it matter if they had to expend a little more effort? Lin Xian was fighting very hard. He was really fighting very hard for the sake of humanity. He didn't wish for humanity to live in poverty for many years to come because of a defeat. He knew that a single person's strength was very small, but he wasn't alone. Furthermore, Lin Xian had another reason for working so hard. It was to raise his cultivation realm quickly. When killing Fey beasts, especially on such a scale, be it Lin Xian's nomological destruction, top-notch moves, or Heavenly Tao realm Fey beasts, his experience increased very quickly. This was also a rare opportunity to raise his cultivation realm quickly. After raising his cultivation realm, it wasn't just to agree to a duel with his master, Yulioli, on Mount Tianyao. It was also to have enough capital to enter the gods' awakening door, and then return to Earth. Although Lin Xian had forgotten, Lin Xian had left a note for himself. Earth was very important to him, and there was more than one Dongfang Shui waiting for him on Earth. A day passed. Begin the operation. The Fey had issued a secret order, so dozens of figures charged at Lin Xian at the same time. More than 10 Heavenly Tao realm experts. Be careful. When Murong Yu saw this sudden scene, she flashed to Lin Xian's side, prepared to fight alongside Lin Xian. "It's fine. You fight your own. Leave these 10 to me." Lin Xian swept his gaze and felt that he could do it. He might not be able to kill them, but it would be excellent if he could hold them back. Besides, Lin Xian felt that he could kill them. So, Lin Xian went forward to face them. Chapter 1875. Lin Xian's battle with the Heavenly Tao had also received unanimous praise. The world had a bad impression of Lin Xian. They thought of him as a person. But after the series of events, Lin Xian had already become a spiritual symbol of humanity. Perhaps it wasn't that exaggerated, but there was absolutely no one who didn't admire him. They didn't respect him. There were only those who were jealous of him. So, Lin Xian had already led the Heavenly Tao away from the main battlefield. Lin Xian, do you think you can fight more than 10 Heavenly Tao alone? Aren't you thinking too highly of yourself? An elder pointed at Lin Xian and said angrily, "So what? It's as though I didn't kill more than 10 Heavenly Tao in the previous battle." Then, come on. Shua, the Holy Sword and Xinyuan Sword appeared in Lin Xian's hands. Why was Lin Xian able to fight more than 10 Heavenly Tao alone? Apart from Lin Xian's strength, there was indeed another reason. The strength that Lin Xian's twin swords produced was just too powerful. Furthermore, the might of the two swords was just too great. Attack! Then, Lin Xian engaged in a fierce battle with the dozens of Heavenly Tao. Time slowly passed, the battlefield had undergone a huge change. However, Lin Xian did not notice anything. This was because it was very normal. Heavenly Tao realm existences, especially Lin Xian, had the space to move the battlefield especially far away. But Lin Xian did not notice it himself, but in fact he was gradually being brought to a certain place in this hardy battle. More than 10 heavenly Tao gathered together. Lin Xian, you have been fooled. An old man sneered. Lin Xian frowned. He had been fooled. Had they set a trap? Open. Schwa. In the massive space around him, an unimaginably powerful space sealed the area. Did the demon race send so many experts just to target Lin Xian? Lin Xian was quite surprised. Furthermore, the strength of this space was extremely strong. Lin Xian basically didn't have the ability to break this space. But is that all? Definitely not. Lin Xian was clear in his heart. His eyes narrowed slightly, and he began to become completely serious. Come on, rise, Heaven's Death Array. Schwa, schwa, schwa. One after another, black and purple light pillars rose into the sky. Above the void, the vortex continued to form, completely trapping Lin Xian inside. Lin Xian, this time you're dead. The old man smiled as he looked at Lin Xian. All of them sneered. Moreover, they were not the only ones here. Heaven's Death Array. This demon race actually gave me this array. Lin Xian frowned. To be honest, it was really unexpected. He knew about the Heaven Death Array. Logically speaking, even if the demon race had this Heaven Death Array, they should have left it for the top heavenly Tao realm experts, or even more important people. For example, the experts of the Light Association. Lin Xian truly never expected that the demon race would leave this Heaven Death Array to him. Lin Xian. Lin Xian, let's see how you'll deal with this Heaven Death Great Formation. Ha ha ha. The experts laughed maniacally. This Heaven's Death Array was a very pure, offensive type of array. It was extremely top-notch. It gathered the might of the heaven and earth spiritual powers. Unless you cracked the array, you would be blasted to death by the endless energy. The Heaven Death Array's energy was endless, and you, be it your stamina, mental strength, or spiritual powers, would be constantly drained. Even if you can crack this Heaven Death Array, you won't be able to do so. Ha ha ha. An old man laughed out loud. Following that, the undead elder came over. He crossed his arms and stood there, watching Lin Xian trapped in the Heaven Death Array from a high vantage point. He was doing it for revenge. He was doing it to avenge the undead. After all, Lin Xian was definitely going to die today. Even if he was trapped in this Heaven Death Array, he would definitely die. Therefore, it was said that the Heaven Death Array was used to deal with very, very top experts. The others did not need to do anything. All they needed to do was watch Lin Xian die in the Heaven Death Array. At the same time, they had to ensure that no one from the human race would come to save him. But on second thought, it did not seem like he could be saved. Even if someone came, who could enter the Heaven Death Array? After all, the demon race had indeed paid a huge price for Lin Xian alone. The demon race had no other choice. They had to do it because they felt that it was worth it. Heaven Death Array. Lin Xian stood there and pondered. If you want to break the Heaven Death Array, there are only two ways. The first way is to break any great battle, and that is to use overwhelming power to forcefully shatter the array. And this method is nearly useless against the Heaven Death Array. To be able to do so, one would probably have to be at the 10-star Heavenly Tao realm. Lin Xian pondered slightly. The second method is to find the array core. However, although the Heaven Death Array's array core is easy to find, it cannot be cracked. Why? This was because the Heaven Death Array's array core contained unimaginable strength. If one wanted to forcefully crack the array core, the premise was that one had to be able to withstand that terrifying strength. And how strong was that strength? It was unimaginable. At the very least, one had to be at the 10-star Heavenly Tao realm to withstand that strength, right? Furthermore, one might not be able to withstand it completely. In a sense, the Heaven Death Array was an array formation that could even deal with a 10-star Heavenly Tao realm. Even a 10-star Heavenly Tao Realm expert might not be able to crack the Heaven Death Array, because one had to produce strength that could crush a 10-star Heavenly Tao Realm expert. And could a 10-star Heavenly Tao Realm expert produce such strength? Although it was theoretically possible to do so at the only realm, but unfortunately, there was almost nothing he could do. These two methods did not seem like a solution to Lin Xian. His physique was very strong, but no matter how strong it was impossible for him to withstand this. As for his augmentation of strength, it was impossible for him to produce strength that could crush a 10-star Heavenly Tao Realm expert. Wait, Lin Xian suddenly thought of something. Was he really unable to produce strength that could rival a 10-star Heavenly Tao Realm expert? Don't forget that he had the heretical God's expert mark on him. If he released it, together with his augmentation of strength, Lin Xian believed that he could produce strength that could crush a 10-star Heavenly Tao Realm expert. But Lin Xian didn't dare to use this method because he really didn't know how much power was needed to crush the opponent. Lin Xian was confident, but if he didn't have more confidence, he wouldn't use this method. Because if he failed, he would die. He would really die this time. However, he could defend against the Array Core. Chapter 1876. Lin Xian's aura erupted. Heretical God Force. Creation Laws. Paramount Sage Heart Sutra. Strength doubled, defense doubled, psyche doubled. Schwa. At the same time, Lin Xian held two holy swords in his hands, augmenting his strength. Realm Enhancement Domain. Activate. Earth Elemental. Metal Elemental. Lin Xian used all the strength that could augment his defense. Then, Lin Xian strode towards the Array Core that was condensing the blackish-purple energy. This Lin Xian actually knows the solution to the Heaven Deathmatch Array. He's indeed not simple. Not far away, the Fey experts were conversing. So what? He also knows how powerful the Heaven Deathmatch Array is. He also knows how to crack it. He also knows that if he doesn't crack the array, death is certain. Therefore, there's only one path in front of him, and that is the Array Core. Unfortunately, even if he knows where the Eye of Truth is to crack the array, what's the use? As long as he walks over, he's doomed. How many seconds can a Heavenly Tao Realm 3-star withstand the impact of the Array Core's energy? But I'm just worried that he will be reduced to ashes by the impact of the energy. If this Lin Xian is reduced to ashes, the effects might not be as good for us. That's right. If we were to carry Lin Xian's corpse in front of the humans, the impact on them would be even greater. And without Lin Xian's corpse, the effects of this plan might be greatly reduced. That's fine. We can film this scene for the humans to see. Besides, this Lin Xian might not be reduced to ashes. Look at his aura. They watch from afar as Lin Xian approached the Array Core. This aura is at the 6-star Heavenly Tao Realm. No, 7-star, right? It's no wonder this Lin Xian was able to kill so many of our Heavenly Tao Realm experts. It's because he can produce such terrifying strength at the 3-star Heavenly Tao Realm. This increase is a little exaggerated. It's really exaggerated. Thankfully, we are using the Heaven Deathmatch Array. If not, it might really be hard to tell. However, so what if he can produce strength at the 8-star Heavenly Tao Realm? Won't he still be unable to withstand it? They weren't flustered at all, taking 100 million steps back. Even if Lin Xian charged out of the Heaven Deathmatch Array, there was still a ridiculously powerful spatial seal beside him. He wouldn't be able to escape either. Then, even if he broke through the Heaven's Death Array, his condition would be almost negligible. At that time, he could easily kill him. In other words, if Lin Xian was able to keep him alive and killed him in front of the entire human race, the impact on the human race would be even more exaggerated. However, it was Lin Xian looked at the terrifying Heaven Deathmatch Array Core in front of him as it released its power. To be honest, just by sensing it, he knew that walking in was equivalent to sending himself to his death. However, Lin Xian could only take this path. He had no other path. He still had some confidence that he would be able to walk this path. Lin Xian then extended his hand and probed the powerful force. At the instant his strength made contact with the force, Lin Xian felt as though a pot of boiling water had been poured over his hand. It was constantly being poured, and in front of this pot of boiling water, Lin Xian was like an ordinary person's hand. Lin Xian hurriedly pulled his hand back. Fuck, who could withstand that? Haha. Upon seeing Lin Xian's actions, the others could not help but laugh. As for the Heaven Deathmatch Array's power, it would not take long before the overwhelming force blasted at Lin Xian. Lin Xian took a deep breath before walking straight in. The powerful force immediately poured down on Lin Xian's body. The pain was unimaginable. Lin Xian had released all his strength. Then Lin Xian took out a pill and consumed it. He really went in. The people outside were secretly alarmed. They were truly impressed that others could feel the pain when they saw others enter. However, there's no other way. He will die if he doesn't enter. He can only enter. That's true. Lin Xian entered the array core. To destroy the array core, Lin Xian had to forcefully withstand the terrifying force and constantly use his strength to attack it. At that moment, there was no need to talk about his strength being able to crush a 10th-stage Heavenly Dao Realm expert. This was because it was also the array formation's weakness. And the difficulty was that he did not have enough time to destroy the Heaven Deathmatch Array. But now Lin Xian needed the time. From the looks of it, I can only release it. Lin Xian's eyes focused. The Heaven Deathmatch Array was too powerful. He had no confidence if he did not release the Heretic God's mark. Shua. Suddenly, a black surging force blasted out from the Heaven Deathmatch Array. What? What power is this? The people looked at the Heaven Deathmatch Array in shock. This is their eyes focused. Suddenly, a few people's pupils constricted. Heretic God. This aura seems to be the Heretic God's power. What? Heretic God? An ancient Heretic God? Why is the Heretic God's power on him? Could he have obtained the Heretic God's heritage? Then, could he have the Heretic God's mark on him? Their pupils constricted violently. To be honest, this was something that no one expected. If it was the Heretic God's mark, and if it could produce sufficient might, then, with the Heretic God's power, it might really be able to crack the Heaven Deathmatch Array. Boom! Before they could react, the powerful Heaven Deathmatch Array blasted out an extremely powerful force. Then, the massive Heaven Deathmatch Array was destroyed just like that. Following that, Lin Xian, who was wrapped in black power, stood out. Everyone, they were stunned. Oh my god, this Lin Xian really managed to escape? Lin Xian stared at the crowd with reddened eyes. I never expected that this power would be used here. It's still a bit of a loss. Lin Xian sneered. But, by saving my life, killing all of you shouldn't be considered a loss. Run. We are not his match. Their pupils constricted as they spoke. This might was at least the might of a Heavenly Dao Realm 10-star. Furthermore, it felt like it could crush a Heavenly Dao 10-star. Even if there were another 100 Heavenly Daos, they would not be his match. Then, they hurriedly withdrew the surrounding spatial forces. However, just as this force was withdrawn, an even more terrifying spatial force appeared. It was released by Lin Xian. Chapter 1877. An extremely terrifying spatial force sealed them. Gulp! All of them gulped mouthfuls of saliva. Behind them, the power that erupted from Lin Xian was so strong that it was beyond their imagination. This was a strength that could completely crush them. Ignoring Lin Xian's strength, even a Heavenly Dao Realm 10-star expert would be able to crush them. This was because the highest realm among them was only at the Heavenly Dao Realm 9-star, and that was the Undead expert. And the difference between the Heavenly Dao Realm 9-star and 10-star was a massive chasm. Furthermore, at that moment, Lin Xian's strength was at the Heavenly Dao Realm 10-star level, and it was not a simple Heavenly Dao Realm 10-star level. It was extremely terrifying. I'm an undead. You can't kill me. Just as the undead expert finished his sentence, then he let out a tragic cry. His arm had been sliced off by Lin Xian. Although he was an undead and could regrow his arm after being sliced off, it would still hurt. So, Lin Xian's target shifted from the Elder to the others. Spatial Seal. Lin Xian released a powerful spatial force. Lin Xian's spatial force was invincible to begin with. Lin Xian's mastery was at 100%, and his mastery was at 100%. At the same time, Lin Xian's realm and strength completely overwhelmed theirs. Even if they were to attack like crazy, they wouldn't be able to break through such a spatial seal in a short period of time. And under normal circumstances, what kind of situation was a spatial seal? In the case of the same realm, if their normal combat strength was about the same, then the space seal could be quickly broken. And if a normal space attribute cultivator's realm was 1 star higher than yours, then you could also solve the problem brought about by the space force in a short period of time. It was just that spatial effects were limited. In a battle between experts, 0.1 seconds was enough to turn the tide of the battle. Actually, there's really no need for you to spend so much effort to deal with me. There's really no need for that. I don't understand why. Lin Xian slowly walked towards them. Lin Xian's spatial seal had reached a level where they could not break through it no matter how hard they tried. That was right. At this moment, they were desperately attacking, but they couldn't break through. They could only watch as Lin Xian approached them. As for the undead expert, his arm had already grown out. His first reaction was to abandon everyone and flee into the distance. But his body crashed into an invisible spatial seal. Lin Xian didn't even look at him, because Lin Xian knew that there was no need to care about him. Lin Xian wanted to deal with everyone here first before going to deal with the undead expert. The old man turned his head in horror and saw Lin Xian's figure slaughtering the people he had brought with him. Why does he have the power of the evil god? What? The old man looked at this scene in horror. This was a complete suppression. Lin Xian didn't even need to use much strength to kill those people, including him. For the first time in his life, the undead elder felt such horror, especially after his realm reached the heavenly Tao realm 9 stars. He was no longer afraid of anything. This was because even if he was fighting a heavenly Tao realm 10-star expert, it wouldn't be a problem for him to escape, right? Especially since he was an undead, it wasn't easy for him to die. And the only power that could kill him was none other than this. This was a power that exceeded the 10-star heavenly Tao realm. Although it was still at the 10-star heavenly Tao realm, the difference wasn't trivial. Flesh and blood splattered. After they were killed, their souls still existed. As long as the soul didn't die, the person wouldn't die. They could possess a person's body and possess it. They could even reconstruct a body. Therefore, when facing a heavenly Tao realm, or even a great void realm expert, one had to kill their soul along with them. Only by doing so could one truly kill a person. After Lin Xian killed them, he absorbed their souls. The souls of heavenly Tao realm experts were definitely great nourishment, and Lin Xian happened to be in dire need of soul force. Things like creating laws did indeed require a lot of soul force. Then, Lin Xian looked at the undead elder. His pupils constricted violently. During this period of time, he had been trying his best to break through the spatial seal and escape. But despite all this time, he had failed. He was in despair. Lin Xian. He gulped a mouthful of saliva as he looked at Lin Xian. I don't understand. Why are all of you targeting me? All of this, including the attack on the humans, was all for me, right? Lin Xian also figured it out. Why was it that despite the Fae's previous attack being more intense, they failed? And despite their failure, they still chose to use such a method to attack the humans? There was no need for that. Therefore, be it Morong Feng or anyone else, they had thought of many possibilities, but they never expected the Fae to repeat their mistakes and use such a method. So now Lin Xian knew. However, Lin Xian was puzzled. Why? Yes, the old man nodded. In fact, at his realm, the more he did not want to die, he still had quite a bit of lifespan left. He still wanted to reach the heavenly Tao realm with 10 stars. After reaching that level, he still fantasized about having the chance to touch upon a higher realm. So why? Am I that important? Lin Xian stared at him. To the humans, you are a very special figure. You're similar to the image of the leaders of the three major factions. If we kill you and bring your corpse to the humans, it will definitely affect the morale of the humans. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. You think too highly of me. No. Then what if you kill me and bring my corpse to the humans? What if the humans see it and end up inciting their fighting spirit? What if all of them are enraged and fight the Fae? The elder did not say a word. In fact, there was a possibility of this happening. On the contrary, the powerful leaders of the human race could use this kind of thing to achieve better results. Forget it. Lin Xian looked at him. The undead are not the enemies of the humans. Why do the undead target the humans the moment they appear? Lin Xian looked at him. The elder did not say a word. Whatever you want, the humans can give it to you. If you become friends with the humans, you can go to Lin City. I welcome you. Lin City is mine. And now, I can be certain that the Fae will not be able to take down Lin City. This is because we humans are not as simple as you think. Go back. I won't kill you either. After all, we might not necessarily be enemies. Lin Xian removed the space and left, leaving the elder behind. Chapter 1878. The war between the humans and the Fae race was still ongoing. However, the Fae race, including the humans, were unsure of the situation with Lin Xian. The Fae race was still waiting for their good news. As for the humans, they were naturally paying attention to Lin Xian. However, what Lin Xian was able to do previously, he would definitely be able to do the same now. Furthermore, they believed that Lin Xian was powerful and had many trump cards. Furthermore, he had spatial attributes. Typically strong spatial dimensions could not trap Lin Xian, so no matter what, he should be able to escape. Until they sensed that something was amiss when they sensed the terrifying heaven and earth anomaly from afar. No good. Morong Feng's eyes focused. What power is that? That power was too powerful. In fact, they had noticed the power of the array from the very beginning. However, they initially believed that it was a martial technique. It was very normal for a high-star heavenly Tao realm warrior to create such a phenomenon. However, the power from before was too exaggerated, and this power was actually released by Lin Xian. I don't know. That must be Lin Xian over there. He might be in danger. An expert by the side said. No, we have to reinforce him. Little you. Morong Feng shouted. Morong Yu landed beside him. Lead your team. I'll assign a few top experts to you. Go over there and check on Lin Xian's situation. Morong Feng hurriedly said. All right. Morong Yu also guessed that something might have happened over there. She obviously wanted to go. Ha ha ha. At this moment, the seventh Fei Temple's Fei god laughed out loud. He felt that it was about time. Then, he laughed out loud as he looked at Morong Feng and company. He laughed and said, It's too late. It's too late. What's too late? Morong Feng bellowed. It's too late for you to save him. That's because that Lin Xian is already trapped in the heaven-death array. Looking at the time, it should be about time for him to be released. Ha 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 what? Upon hearing this, many people's pupils constricted. Heaven, death array. Bastard. Morong Feng pointed at him and angrily shouted, You demons are truly despicable. You actually used the heaven's death great array to deal with a child. Ha! The demon god of the seventh demon god temple laughed. So what? In this battle, do we still need to talk about this? Your Excellency, Morong Feng of the human race. Ka ka ka. They clenched their fists tightly. Bastard. Ling Ying cursed angrily as a black fog surrounded her body. Whoosh. Her eyes were red as she rushed over an extremely fast speed. You're courting death. The seventh demon god, temple master, narrowed his eyes and sent out a terrifying force. Be careful. An expert beside Morong Feng also moved to block in front of Ling Ying. Morong Yu used the space to forcibly pull Ling Ying over. Calm down. Lin Xian won't get into trouble that easily. Morong Yu held Ling Ying's shoulder. Ling Ying's eyes were red. Believe in him. Morong Yu consoled her in a deep voice. In fact, how could she not feel terrible? But what could she do? The only solution was to believe in Lin Xian. However, she was also feeling terrible. She was also afraid. This was because she knew what the Heaven Deathmatch Array was. It was something they would definitely learn at the Martial Arts Academy. Ha ha! The seventh demon god temple master laughed out loud and said, "Believe in him? Believe in him for what? Don't deceive yourselves." Ha ha! The Heaven Deathmatch Array is a powerful array formation that even a heavenly Tao Realm 10-star would die in. How can he survive? Don't hold any hopes of getting lucky. Don't think that he won't fall for it, because the power just now is the Heaven Deathmatch Array's power. He's already dead. What? Even a heavenly Tao Realm 10-star would die in there. Some people didn't know much about the Great Death Heaven Array, but after hearing this, those who thought that Lin Xian could survive lost their confidence. At that moment, a voice sounded. Is that so? Then why did I come out? Everyone turned to look in the direction of the voice. Holy shit. Lin Xian, Lin Xian, Lin Xian. Swish, on the battlefield, Ling Ying, Murong Yu, Han Chuxue, and the rest rushed towards Lin Xian. Woo woo woo. Miao Xiao Miao threw herself into Lin Xian's arms. Bastard! You bastard! You scared me to death! Woo woo woo. Miao Xiao Miao kept hammering Lin Xian's chest as she wailed. All right. I made everyone worry. It's fine. Didn't I come back in one piece? Murong Feng heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at Lin Xian and nodded in admiration. Good job. Really good job. What? Everyone from the Fey race revealed looks of disbelief. This is Lin Xian? He came out? How is that possible? How was that possible? There's basically no one in the world who could come out alive from the Fatality Formation. How is that possible? If he came out, then the others, Lin Xian, comforted them, then looked at the seventh Fey God Temple's monster god. Say, aren't you thinking a little too simply? It's just a Fatality Formation. Do you think it can kill me? Everyone. Where are the others? The others? Of course they're dead. Whoosh, Lin Xian. Lin Xian, Lin Xian. Brothers, Lin Xian is fine. The ones who died were the scum of the monster race. What are we still doing here? Everyone kill. Kill. Kill them all. The humans' fighting spirits soared as they charged at the monster race with all their might. Bastard. Bastard. The seventh Fey God Temple's monster god cursed. Retreat. Listen to my command. Everyone retreat. The monster race was utterly defeated by the humans and desperately retreated. Lin Xian was led into Lin and City by a group of girls. Are you all right? They surrounded Lin Xian with concern. Lin Xian shook his head. I'm fine. Damn. He didn't usually have the chance to gather so many girls together. He didn't expect it to be because of this. Linya stood behind him, wiping away her tears. As long as you're fine. Morong Qing nodded. In the future, it's best not to do this, really. Lin Xian nodded. Don't worry. After this incident, I don't think there will be any big problems in Lin and City. It's my problem. I was actually confident, but I didn't tell you. As long as you're fine. Murong Feng and a group of human higher-ups ran over. Good boy. Murong Feng hugged Lin Xian, then patted Lin Xian's back hard. You scared me to death. Thank goodness you're fine. Lin Xian smiled. I made everyone worry. Chapter 1879. Indeed, this matter was very dangerous. Without this method, Lin Xian would really be dead. Time slowly passed. Just like that, a month passed. During this month, the war between the human race and the demon race never stopped. However, because the 7th, 9th, and 15th demon god palaces suffered setbacks here, Lin and City was very safe. The human race also had victories and defeats. There were also cities that had fallen, but overall, everything was under control. The demon race was full of confidence in this battle. Now, both sides were evenly matched. Huang Shi also didn't make a move in the second demon god palace. However, at the same time, she didn't help the human race. This was already very good news. It was enough. Everyone, Murong Feng, a group of leaders, Lin Xian, and the others held a meeting together. A month has passed. At present, The situation is still under control. We are confident that the human race will not lose. Everyone applauded. Lin Xian. Murong Feng looked at Lin Xian and said, "Thank you." Lin Xian stood up and said, "There's no need to thank me. As a member of the human race, this is what I should do." "Sure enough, I didn't misjudge you." He nodded at Lin Xian with satisfaction. "I'm relieved to leave Xiaoyu to you." Murong Yu, wait a minute. They still haven't confirmed their relationship. Next, you have a mission. The situation in Lin and City is temporarily under control. You may need to support other places. We need you. Lin Xian, Han Chuxue, and the others stood up. No problem. At this time, someone knocked on the door. "Come in." "Leader, the undead clan's leader requests an audience." "What?" Everyone looked at each other in surprise. "What's he doing here?" "I don't know. It's just one person. He said he wants to see you." Murong Feng nodded. "Everyone, please leave for a moment." "Leader," he said, "there's no need to leave. It doesn't matter how many people there are." "Oh." Murong Feng frowned, then nodded. "Okay, let him in." "Yes." After a while, the door opened and an old man walked in. His gaze swept across the crowd. Everyone was also looking at him. Finally, his gaze landed on Lin Xian. This old man is Si Qinxiu, the current patriarch of the undead clan. He cupped his fist at the crowd. Although they were enemies on the battlefield, he was now like an envoy. When two armies faced each other, the envoy would not be killed. "What do you mean by that?" Murong Feng stood up, stared at him, and asked. His tone wasn't very good either. They weren't friends, so there was no need for him to be polite. "This old man is here to make peace," Dai Qinxiu said. They were all astonished. After an internal discussion, the undead have decided that we will withdraw from the demon camp. Everyone, hearing this, they all felt that it was inconceivable. Wait a minute. Could this be some kind of conspiracy? After all, they had been quiet for a month. "What do you mean by that?" Then, Dai Qinxiu looked at Lin Xian and said, "I'm very grateful to little brother Lin Xian for sparing this old man's life. From this, you can see the difference between the human race and the demon race. I think that there is no hatred between the undead clan and the human race. Because we have just been born, we feel that the demon race can win this war. For the benefit of the entire clan, we decided to join the demon race." He paused for a moment, then continued, "Little brother Lin Xian is right. We don't have any hatred with the human race. Moreover, little brother Lin Xian has shown us the difference between the human race and the demon race. Therefore, the undead clan will withdraw from this war between the human race and the demon race." Hearing this, everyone revealed a happy expression. Lin Xian again. This Lin Xian has really done too much. If that's the case, then everyone is happy. Murong Feng said, "It's just that our undead clan has already thought it through. We will not join the human race to fight against the demon race. After all, we belong to the demon race. In this war, we will not provide any help. Everyone can rest assured that we will not enter Lin and City. There is no need to worry that this is a conspiracy." Dai Qinxiu said, "Of course." Then he bowed to everyone. "I sincerely apologize for everything that we have done to the human race. You don't have to be like this. This era is like this, especially for a clan leader. Sometimes, a choice is not as simple as a simple wish." Murong Feng said. Dai Qinxiu raised his body and nodded. "Indeed." Then he looked at Lin Xian. "Little brother Lin Xian, this old man is very optimistic about your future. The future is yours. I also hope that the human race can win. The human race will definitely win." Lin Xian said with a smile. "Yes. Then this old man will go back first and wait for your good news." Actually, he chose to withdraw from the demon race camp. The reason was definitely not as simple as Lin Xian. Of course there was, but they wanted more things. For example, judging from Lin Xian and the current situation, the demon race really had no chance of winning. Even if this war continued for another 3 years, they still could not win. Then why did they have to do this? Why bother? Anyway, his undead clan was there. They could not lose anything. Even if they gained something, how much could they gain? This is really good news. After he left, Everyone showed an excited expression. There were not many undead clan members, but the battle strength that they could display was very terrifying. For this group of people to withdraw from the battle with the human race, it was definitely a good thing. Spread the news. When everyone knows about this good news, they will definitely have more fighting spirit. Someone said, "That's right." Someone thought for a while and said, "That's right, I'm still afraid that this is a conspiracy. Actually, there is no need to worry about this. Whether the undead clan joins or not does not have a huge impact on the overall situation. However, this news can bring about a very good effect on the overall situation. There's no need to worry about the undead clan suddenly doing something. As long as there are no problems with the defense of Lin and City, there will be no problems. Understood." Then, Murong Feng looked at Lin Xian. "Lin Xian, you have made another contribution. Hey, Uncle Murong, we are a family. Why are we talking about this? We are not a family. This is your contribution to the human race." Lin Xian scratched his head. "When this battle is over, you will get what belongs to you." Lin Xian nodded. Actually, he did not want anything. He only wanted one thing, and that was the God's Awakening Door. He did not know if the Radiant Association would agree to this. Chapter 1880. The others went to rest. Lin Xian called Murong Feng out alone. Originally, Lin Xian didn't know when he should talk about this matter. But now, he felt that he could talk about it. "Uncle Murong." Lin Xian looked at Murong Feng. "If you have something to say, just say it. We don't need to beat around the bush." Murong Feng patted Lin Xian's shoulder. Then, he handed a cigarette to Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded. "Uncle Murong, I want to ask about the God's Awakening Door." "God's Awakening Door? Why are you asking about this?" Murong Feng was somewhat astonished. He never thought that Lin Xian would ask about this. "That is, can the rules of the God's Awakening Door be changed? You still want to go? It's useless. If you want to get the things inside the God's Awakening Door, you can only go once. It's useless to go again. If it's useful, then it's useless." Lin Xian shook his head. "No, I'm not going there to get some special rewards." "Oh." Then Lin Xian asked, "Since Uncle Murong said that it's only once, does it mean that there are people who have entered the God's Awakening Door twice, or even more?" "Yes." Murong Feng nodded. "And then? They died." Lin Xian frowned. In history, Murong Feng smoked a cigarette. There are 3 people in history. There are a total of 3 people. Of course, I know that there are a total of 3 people. These 3 people entered the God's Awakening Door a second time. They are very strong, incomparably strong, very powerful, and also very talented. There is even one who is not only a genius, but is already a famous expert. They came back easily from the first time, but did not come back the second time. Lin Xian, you said that if they didn't come back, wouldn't they be dead? No, Lin Xian said. And Murong Feng looked at Lin Xian in astonishment. They might not necessarily be dead. Or maybe he was living on Earth. Due to the limitations of Earth, even if they survived, their cultivation levels would not be high. They couldn't go any higher, so they weren't particularly famous? It was possible. However, it was also possible that they were indeed dead. Do you know something? Murong Feng asked. This was because after returning from the God's Awakening Door, all memories would disappear. However, Lin Xian's words sounded as if he was very certain. Lin Xian couldn't remember, but he knew that it was Earth. Uncle Murong, I'm curious about something. Go ahead. After so many years, so many people have entered and exited the God's Awakening Door. Is it true that none of them remember anything? Or can you say anything? Lin Xian asked. Of course not. What if I wrote down the situation over there in advance and brought a small note with me when I came back? Lin Xian asked. Lin Xian refused to believe that no one had ever done this before. That was because everyone knew about it when they went in. Once they came out, they would forget about what happened inside. Wouldn't anyone be curious? There must be. This, you can't, because no matter what happened over there, what you obtained, or what you saw in the end, you will not be able to bring back anything from there. Lin Xian, that's not right. However, he brought it back. What's going on? He really did bring it back. Uncle Morong, are you sure about this? Of course I'm sure. It's something from so many years ago, so I'm sure. Why? Morong Fong asked curiously. Lin Xian shook his head. Nothing, I'm just curious. Morong Fong didn't think too much about it. Definitely wouldn't think that Lin Xian would bring back something from another world. Then, does anyone know what's inside the God's Awakening door? Lin Xian asked. I don't know. I only know that there should be another world inside. It might be a barren land or something. Demon beasts and other creatures are everywhere. That's probably the case. To be honest, everyone in the Radiant Association is a person of this continent. They may have lived a little longer and have experienced a little more. However, they don't necessarily know the secrets of this continent. They're also people. They haven't separated themselves from a certain category. Therefore, even if they have entered, they must have been the same as the others, Morong Fong said. Lin Xian then said, Uncle Morong, I want to go in again. What? Hearing Lin Xian's words, Morong Fong was dumbfounded. Lin Xian, I'm seriously telling you that you can't. Morong Fong reprimanded. Because if you go in, you will die. That kind of place is similar to a divine land. You are very powerful. You are very talented. But you can't go against such power. You will die very miserably. Morong Fong was very clear in his heart. Lin Xian, no matter how many heaven-defying and powerful things you have done, they are useless. They are not the reason and capital for you to enter the God's Awakening door again. Morong Fong said. Lin Xian nodded. Uncle Morong, I am very clear about what I am saying. No, if you die, what will happen to the people around you? What will happen to Xiaoyu? Sometimes, no matter what reason you have to think about others. This is maturity. You can't do anything on impulse. Do you understand? Lin Xian nodded. Uncle Morong, I understand. However, I have a reason to go in. What reason? I can't say, but I have to go in. Maybe it won't be now, but it won't be long. 1 year, 2 years. Lin Xian had said that he would return in a year, but on the note, he had told them that he would return in 3 years. 3 years was very long. However, he should be able to wait. Lin Xian also didn't know. Morong Fong looked at Lin Xian and didn't say anything. Therefore, Uncle Morong, I don't want any reward. I want a privilege. What? The privilege to enter the God's Awakening door whenever I want. Is that okay? Lin Xian asked. Morong Fong, are you crazy? You want to enter the God's Awakening door whenever you want? You fucking want to do it more than once, right? Lin Xian nodded yes. I'm not sure. I want such a privilege. Since someone has done it before, it means that it is possible. I only need some people to nod their heads. I will bear the consequences. But although you said so, the consequences need to be borne by everyone around you. Uncle Morong. Lin Xian looked at him. I'm very clear about what I am saying. I won't go in just to die. Why would I die the second time I go in? Since it is a world, why can't I live in that world? But have you thought about it? Even if they don't die, they won't be able to come back. Lin Xian was silent. Wait, he had forgotten about this. Come back. It was fine to go, but how could they come back if the transmission channel didn't open? Chapter 1881. That's right. How was he to return? Lin Xian wanted to be able to travel freely. However, even if he could go to Earth, he could not return. Lin Xian did not believe that he would die, but he did not believe that he could definitely return. He would return because there were people waiting for him there. And, similarly, there were people here as well. Lin Xian sighed. Forget it. He'd been too naive. Kid, what are you trying to do? Asked Morong Fong. Lin Xian shook his head. It's nothing. It's hard to say. Lin Xian then looked at Morong Fong and asked, Uncle Morong, can you help me ask the people from the Light Association about the details of the door of God's Awakening? That's possible. I can ask according to your request, but you must not do anything foolish. Lin Xian nodded. I understand. Just like that, a year passed. That's right. It had been an entire year. It was also in this year and last month that the war between humans and Fae ended. The final outcome was there was neither victory nor defeat. Countless warriors and demons had died in this war that had lasted for more than a year. And while they did not gain much, they lost a lot. After this war, the next few decades should be a very peaceful era. Lin Xian's realm had reached the heavenly Dao realm at 6 stars. It was rather fast, really fast. This was because he had killed too many Fey over the past year. Even if it was purely grinding, he would have raised his realm to this point. Murong Yu and Ling Ying's realms were generally at 4 or 5 stars of the heavenly Dao realm. Lin Xian's realm increased the fastest. None of them had reached 6 stars. Miao Xiao Miao and company's realms had also soared. Some had already attempted to break through to the heavenly Dao realm, while others were preparing to do so. Everyone's talent was not bad. Linya's realm was not low either. She was at 5 stars of the heavenly Dao realm. After the war ended, Lin Xian was left with peace and tranquility. Everyone was also divided into several small circles. In this small circle, a few people played well together. Everyone was often together, while the other few played well with each other. Miao Xiao Miao, Zhao Yunqi, and Xen, Lan Xingxing, Yi Yi, Lu Yufan, and Zichiyue were all part of small circle. Generally speaking, their realms were much lower than the other small circles. Ling Ying, Han Chuxue, and the others also formed a small circle. The other small circle was made up of Linglong Shui, Huang Shi, Bing Lingyue, Yiren Bing, Luo Chenxi, Murong Qing, and Bai Xianxian. On the other hand, Linyu was frequently seen in various small circles. After all, this was Lin Xian's harem. As his elder sister, Linya took good care of everyone. She was like a big sister, trying her best to help Lin Xian solve his problems. Then, the 2 little fellows also grew up. Wow, little Shur is too fierce. In a beautiful grassland, it was like a small world. Everyone had gathered here, and no one was left behind. This was also the first time everyone had gathered together for a long time before the end of the war. They didn't say whether they were Lin Xian's women or not. They didn't need to say it, they were here. Here, some were playing chess, some were barbecuing meat, some were fishing, and some were competing. It was very harmonious. Over here, Zhao Yunqi was currently sparring with little Shur. Little Shur was small, but mischievous. She was so small, and her small fists were pink and tender, but she was very fierce when fighting. Little Shur is so fast. Seeing the 2 flickering figures and little Shur's strength that was not to be outdone, everyone gasped in admiration. Little Shur was too strong. Her realm had reached Celestial Venerable. That's right. No one knew where her realm came from. She just lay there and slept for a year, and she became a Celestial Venerable. That was fucking ridiculous. Of course, there was also little Tianny. He was the same. In any case, these 2 little fellows were not simple. Little Shur had inherited Lin Xian's law of destruction, and little Tianny had inherited the law of creation. In terms of combat, little Shur is more inclined to take the initiative to attack. She's a real fighter. On the other hand, little Tianny is a bit like Lin Xian. He's more inclined to techniques and wisdom. Linya said, "Who's stronger?" Lu Yufan asked curiously. "Who's stronger?" Yiren Bing smiled and said, "Well, how should I put it? They're both strong, but little Tianny has never won." "Ah, then isn't little Shur stronger?" "He can win, but he has to purposely reveal an opening, and then little Shur will seize it and defeat him." Puffed. Many girls burst out laughing when they heard this. It can't be. Little Tianny and little Shur are only 2 years old, and little Tianny already has such a strong desire to live. Ha ha ha, so cute, so cute. Miao Xiao Miao laughed and said, "Can't help it. He's used to being bullied since he was young." Lin Xian walked over and shrugged. "This little rascal, he's not like his father." Lin Xian said, "What do you know? Little Tianny is only 2 years old, and he's already so gentlemanly. What about you?" Murong Qing shook her head helplessly. Cough, cough. Lin Xian coughed dryly. "This is different from what I thought. Lin Xian rubbed his forehead and said, "What I'm thinking is that little Sure should be a quiet girl, just like little Chu Shu, little Yu Yu, little Ling Long, and little Ling Wei. They should be cold and aloof. Isn't that right? Little Tianyi should be more manly like his father, but now little Sure has become a little violent, and Tianyi has become a punching bag. That's not it. Little Tianyi can explode with his true strength when little Sure is in danger, and he will show his manliness when it's time. As for little Sure, she's used to bullying little Tianyi, but in little Sure's eyes, only she is allowed to bully Tianyi, of course. There's also us. If anyone else bullies Tianyi, little Sure will be the first to panic." Lin Xian smiled and nodded. That's true. The most successful thing was the relationship between this pair of siblings. "Okay, come and eat the barbecue." Bai Xian shouted. Coming. Whoosh! Little Sure landed on the ground and wobbled over to the barbecue. A day passed peacefully just like that. However, the entire continent seemed to have returned to peace, but in reality, a storm was brewing and undercurrents were surging. The true danger had only just begun to brew. Congratulations, Head, for obtaining the power of the imperial descent. In front of Zhao Mengyue, a group of figures kneeled and congratulated her. Zhao Mengyue's eyes flashed red, and a bloodthirsty smile appeared on her lips. This continent will be mine in the end. Chapter 1882. Another half a year had passed. The entire continent had been rather peaceful for the past half a year. In this half a year, Lin Xian's realm did not increase much. When his realm reached Heavenly Dao Realm 6 stars, there was no way for him to increase it any further. It was just too difficult. However, compared to others, Lin Xian's realm had already increased very quickly. Is this the calm before the storm? Lin Xian looked at the clear night sky and sighed. What's the matter? What are you thinking about? Behind him, Ling Longshui walked over and asked gently. Sigh. Lin Xian sighed and looked at her. I don't know either. I just feel uneasy. Is it because of Zhao Mengyue and company? Ling Longshui asked. Lin Xian nodded. That's right. They have been quiet for too long. It has been a year and a half since the war between the humans and the demons began. A year and a half is enough for them to do a lot of things, added Ling Longshui. That's right. Lin Xian nodded. And the quieter they are, the more uneasy I feel. Then, Lin Xian continued, Uncle Murong has told me a lot about them. Although the humans and the demons are at war, we have not stopped searching for them during this period of time. But it's true that we haven't found a single trace of them. I believe that they have completely matured. Furthermore, it won't take long for them to stir up the continent's peace. They need a springboard that can allow them to do many things. Xiao Linglong, what do you think the springboard is? Ling Longshui's beautiful eyes looked at the starry sky outside and muttered, human or demon. At that moment, in the 7th Fei God Temple. Lord Fei God, someone is looking for you outside. Although the Fei race had been defeated, they did not suffer any losses. Both sides had lost countless lives, and so had the Fei race. However, losses on both sides were equivalent to no losses. It just meant that the Fei race did not achieve their goals. However, the humans did not turn around and attack the Fei race. Who is it? I'm not seeing you. The 7th Fei God Temple's Fei God was hugging a beauty, drinking wine, and eating meat. He was extremely displeased that his mood was disturbed. Lord Demon God, this person said that if you don't meet him, you will regret it. Oh, the 7th Monster God raised his eyebrows. Interesting. He sneered. Let him in. Yes. Then a fatty walked in. Human race? His eyes narrowed as he looked at the fatty. Human race? The fat man sneered. Then his eyes suddenly turned red and he stretched out his hand slightly. Ah! Screams were heard all around. Then they saw that everyone in the hall had blood spurting out from their throats. Then all of it gathered together and was finally sucked into his mouth. Disgusting. It was disgusting. Human blood tastes better. He licked his red lips. Gulp, the Yao God gulped. stronger than him. This was the feeling he felt at this moment. This was a human. This was definitely a human. But the power he released was not human. How strange. How strange. Who exactly was this person? What is the meaning of this? The Yao god looked at the fatty warily. To be precise, it was Bloodseeker. There is a cooperation that I hope to discuss with you. Bloodseeker walked over and said, What cooperation? The Yao god began to be vigilant. He even prepared to secretly use some power. Deal with the humans together. Do you want to do it? Deal with the humans? With just you? He smiled disdainfully. The entire monster race had not been able to destroy the humans. Just him alone could do it. But to be honest, he was a little curious. Everyone had seen the war between the humans and the monster race. He believed that he had also seen how strong the humans were. The Myriad Monster Alliance and a Monster God Temple combined could not defeat them. But this person, what a joke. Of course, it's not just me. We all saw the war between the humans and the monster race. Do you think that someone who dares to speak like this really doesn't have the confidence? Bloodseeker said with a smile. He naturally sat beside the Yao god. The Yao god slightly relaxed his vigilance. It seemed that he had only come for this. What do you mean? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Moreover, we are considered friends, aren't we? My master's greatest enemy is that Lin Xian. Are you still worried? I need a specific method. The Yao god was interested. There are all kinds of strange things in the world. Just because they had lost, it did not mean that there was no power in the world that could shake the entire human race. If there was, the monster race would not hesitate to gather their forces again. The specific method requires a little sacrifice, Your Excellency. The sacrifice does not matter. If we can win against the humans, let alone a little sacrifice. So what if it's a little sacrifice? Tell me, what kind of sacrifice? Bloodseeker smirked. Behind the Yao god, a sharp blade condensed from blood was ready. Your life. Chi. Suddenly, the Yao god's pupils contracted violently. At the same time, the 9th Monster God Temple welcomed a bespectacled man with a notebook. The 10th Monster God Temple also welcomed a man. The 11th, the 8th, many Monster God Temples welcomed a person. There was one person who went directly to the Myriad Monster Alliance. That's right, Zhao Mingwei. Zhao Mingwei? Who's that? The big shots of the Myriad Monster Alliance had never heard of such a person. She said she's Lin Xian's mortal enemy. Lin Xian's mortal enemy? What a joke. So what if she's Lin Xian's mortal enemy? What right does she have to meet us? Do we have to meet anyone who says they're Lin Xian's mortal enemy in the future? What a laughable excuse. We won't meet her, an old man said unhappily. Yes. They did hate Lin Xian very much, but it did not mean they had to do such things. Run. At this moment, screams came from outside. What's going on? The old men were stunned. This was the Myriad Monster Alliance. No one in this world dared to act so impudently in the Myriad Monster Alliance. Not good. Someone has killed their way into the Myriad Monster Alliance. A person rushed in. What are you panicking for? This is the Myriad Monster Alliance. An old man said angrily. Yeah, this is the Myriad Monster Alliance. The Myriad Monster Alliance is so arrogant that they don't welcome this empress. Zhao Mingyue's figure appeared. They stared at Zhao Mingwei. Who are you? How dare you call yourself an empress? It was fucking ridiculous. Call herself an empress? Who on this continent dared to call themselves an empress? Chapter 1883. Zhao Mingwei was extremely confident right now. Of course, she might not be able to go against the entire Myriad Demon Alliance. To be precise, she definitely couldn't. She was very strong, but it was impossible for her to become so strong in such a short period of time. But she was definitely very strong. I want to discuss a collaboration with all of you. Zhao Mingwei walked into the main hall, then casually sat down on a seat and crossed her legs. What's the meaning of this? Well, the old man's eyes narrowed. How noisy. Zhao Mingyue's eyes narrowed, and then a wave of energy surged out and enveloped the old man. The old man let out an extremely miserable scream. The pupils of the others in the surroundings constricted. Imperial descent. One of the old men shouted out. What? Imperial descent? The others felt terror from the bottom of their hearts when they heard this name. There's actually someone who can recognize imperial descent strength. Zhao Mingwei laughed coldly. Moreover, it's the complete form of imperial descent strength. It's just that its cultivation is slightly lacking. The old man from the Myriad Demon Alliance seemed to know quite a bit. Oomph. But you alone dare to act presumptuously in the Myriad Demon Alliance? Aren't you thinking too highly of yourself and looking down on us? The old man's aura surged. There's no need to be anxious. I've come to discuss a collaboration with all of you. A collaboration? Just because you've inherited imperial descent strength? Are you even worthy? I'm not worthy. Zhao Mingwei smiled with ridicule. There are probably 7 or 8 demon god palaces that have become my forces now. Do you think I'm not worthy? They exchanged glances. The demon god palaces could belong to the demon gods, but they still had to listen to the Myriad Demon Alliance in the end. Otherwise, the Myriad Demon Alliance was entirely capable of sending experts to chase a demon god like Zhao Mingwei out. No matter how strong a demon god's forces were, they couldn't go against the Myriad Demon Alliance. But now, imperial descent had appeared. If what she said was true, then it meant that the demon gods of the various demon god palaces had changed masters. Of course, they could still attack them, but they would have to pay an extremely heavy price. Moreover, it wouldn't be easy. Now, can we sit down and have a good chat? The second demon god palace. Lord, someone is looking for you. Huangshi took a sip of her tea. Who is it? I don't know. She said that if Lord Demon God doesn't meet her, you will regret it. Huangshi said faintly, Bring him here. Yes. Soon. She walked over with a woman. Greetings, esteemed demon god. Huangshi slowly got up and turned to look at her. Who is it? Huangshi asked faintly. Never seen it before. However, his cultivation did not seem to be low. It didn't feel particularly good. Bai Ling, I hope to cooperate with you on this trip. Cooperation? Tell me. Huangshi sat down again with her back facing this person. A bloody smile appeared on White Yi's face. For this cooperation, Your Excellency may have to make some sacrifices. What sacrifice? Your life. All of a sudden, Bai Ling's eyes narrowed and a black mist rushed towards Huangshi. A raging flame erupted from Huangshi's body. It was a black flame, a flame of darkness. Bai Ling's pupils shrank. Originally, her head had told her not to touch some of the demon god temples, including the second demon god temple. But she didn't believe it. How strong was the power she had inherited? She wasn't afraid. She didn't believe it. Then she came. And then, her sudden attack was easily blocked by Huangshi. Impossible. Impossible. Bai Ling looked at the scene in front of her in disbelief. Her cultivation base was really high. She wasn't weak at all. Short-sighted. Huangshi snorted coldly, and a surge of power burst out. On the other side, Lin Xian received the news. Who? Lin Xian asked. The power of the 12 demon gods should be the sound demon. Lin Xian frowned. What do they want? To kill me, Huangshi said indifferently. What are they trying to do? Lin Xian paced slowly. They attacked and even wanted to kill Huangshi. Lin Xian guessed that they might not be targeting Huangshi. It was more likely that they were targeting the demon god temple. Why were they targeting the demon god temple? He didn't know. However, it was clear that they had started to act. I have to be careful. I'll tell Uncle Murong. Lin Xian then hung up the phone and reported to Murong Feng about the situation here. What? Murong Feng was shocked when he heard the news. Is it reliable? I'm not sure, but this is the situation with the second demon god temple. I'm not sure about the situation with the other demon god temples. It seems that they're going to make a move. Murong Feng sighed. I understand. Leave this matter to us to investigate. Lin Xian said, Okay, but we can also no need. You're already tired. Rest well and improve your cultivation base. Perhaps there will be many things that I need your help with in the future. Okay. Lin Xian hung up the phone. He had something else to do now. Over at Mount Tianyao, Lin Xian had received Yu Liuli's nurturing and obtained a lot of power. At that time, He had promised her that he would return 2 years later. It seemed that he had something to do, and this matter should be similar to a martial arts competition. As for who he would be competing with, Lin Xian wasn't too sure. Thinking about it, he missed those two women, Su Qining and Mu Qinshuang. During this period, they didn't contact each other at all. Lin Xian didn't contact them, so they naturally couldn't contact Lin Xian. It's about time. Lin Xian looked at the date. Xiao Linglong, I have to leave for Mount Tianyao. Lin Xian said to Linglong Shui, I'll accompany you. No need. Lin Xian kissed her red lips and said, I'm no longer the weak Lin Xian from before. Don't worry, this kind of thing is very simple for me. Be careful. I'm afraid that the demon race is still watching you, and Zhao Mingwei. Don't worry, then I won't procrastinate and will leave directly. Okay. Then, Lin Xian disappeared on the spot. This trip wasn't close. Lin Xian's realm wasn't low, but he still needed to spend some time to reach Mount Tianyao. Master, on Mount Tianyao, Su Qining poured a cup of tea for Yu Liuli. The 12 demon gods have already begun to move. According to the current investigation, 8 demon god temples have already fallen into their hands. In this case, the myriad demon alliance might not be able to help. Su Qining said, this continent has never lacked ambitious people, but no ambitious person has ever succeeded. Lin Xian is here, right? On the way. Chapter 1884. Lin Xian had arrived at Mount Tianyao. Fairy Master. Lin Xian greeted Yu Liuli with a smile. Pretty senior sister. Then, Lin Xian smiled sweetly at Su Qibing. Su Qibing nodded slightly at Yi Qianni to indicate that she understood. Then she walked away. Hey, why did you leave? You don't seem to want to see me. Then, Lin Xian's voice sounded again. Or did you leave shyly after seeing me? Su Qibing. She couldn't help but stagger. Pui, have a seat, Yu Liuli said to Lin Xian indifferently. All right. Lin Xian obediently sat opposite her. Heavenly Dao Realm, 6 stars. Not bad. You're a little faster than I expected. Lin Xian scratched his head and said with a smile, Not bad, not bad. Fairy Master, what do you want me to do? Go to the Heavenly Palace tomorrow or tonight. Heavenly Palace? Lin Xian seemed to have heard of this before, but he couldn't remember clearly. When did he hear of it? He really couldn't remember. It seemed that Xiao Linglong had mentioned it unintentionally. This Heavenly Palace is? Lin Xian asked curiously. A top faction of the demon race that opposes Mount Tianyao. Huh? Mount Tianyao. Lin Xian glanced at it. The main thing was, Lin Xian knew that his master was super awesome. She was so awesome that Xiao Linglong respected her very much. However, to be honest, he had only seen 2 people in Mount Tianyao. One was his master, and the other was Su Qibing. It couldn't be that Mount Tianyao was a faction supported by his master, Yu Liuli, alone, right? That Heavenly Palace faced Mount Tianyao. It couldn't be that Heavenly Palace was also in the same situation, right? Then, Lin Xian asked, this Heavenly Palace, could it be the same as Mount Tianyao? There are many people? Do you think this is the entirety of Mount Tianyao? Yu Liuli asked. Lin Xian, this, like I said, it shouldn't be. Lin Xian suddenly understood. Mount Tianyao should be a very powerful force. It shouldn't be to the extent that there weren't any people there. You don't have to come into contact with anything else right now. There are some positions and identities that I believe you don't necessarily want. Take this. She handed a token to Lin Xian. This is? If there's anything you need help with in the future, just use this token. Of course, the prerequisite is that he doesn't violate some rules. Lin Xian nodded. I understand. Let's talk about Mount Tianyao and the Heavenly Palace. Yu Liuli then said, the Heavenly Demon Mountain and the Heavenly Palace have been enemies for many years, or rather, rivals. If we're talking about grudges, then this grudge is so great that they want to destroy the other. Lin Xian listened carefully. Outside of Mount Tianyao, there's another force called Mount Tianyao. That's what you think of as a powerful force. Yu Liuli said, I see. Then what is the purpose of our Mount Tianyao? Lin Xian asked curiously. Its general purpose is to provide for the elderly. Lin Xian, ahem, fairy master, don't joke around. Not really. You'll know in the future. It's not important right now. Lin Xian nodded. Is the heavenly palace like this too? Yes. Simply put, you can go to Mount Tianyao and become the master of Mount Tianyao soon. But you naturally don't want to do that, so I didn't want to tell you. You just need to understand. Lin Xian scratched his head. That's true. The previous masters of Mount Tianyao were all chosen in this way. If you don't do it, it won't affect you much. But there's another identity. It's useless to you now, so it's good that you don't know. It's the same for the heavenly palace. There's someone in the heavenly palace who's about the same as you. What you need to do is fight with her. If you can win, then win. If you can't, then there's nothing you can do. One-on-one, Lin Xian asked. Yes. Lin Xian. Then Yuli explained to Lin Xian, the heavenly palace and Mount Tianyao have been rivals since the day they were established. The founders of Mount Tianyao and the heavenly palace were rivals. They've been competing since the day they were established. So from then on, the heavenly palace will produce a celestial emperor every generation, and Mount Tianyao will produce a Yao emperor. That's right, you're this generation's Yao emperor. Lin Xian, holy shit, I've heard of this before. Lin Xian said in shock. He really had heard of this before. Even if he wasn't in the Yao realm and hadn't heard of it from Linglong Shui and the others, Lin Xian knew about it, because these two titles were a little too famous. They were similar to the saints and saintesses of the three major factions of the human race. Most importantly, they were similar in status to the saints of the Association of Light. They were very, very powerful. Lin Xian knew that the Yao Emperor and the Celestial Emperor were similar to the two most powerful existences in the entire Yao realm. They represented the ceiling of the Yao realm's combat strength, or rather, the ceiling of the Yao realm's future combat strength. It could also be said that their talents were very exaggerated. I'm a human. Won't there be a problem if I become the Yao Emperor? It's fine. Lin Xian nodded. Okay. You mean I just have to go to the heavenly palace and fight with him tomorrow? Yes, that's it. Maybe there will be more in the future, but there's no need for that now. Understood. Then what will happen if I lose? Nothing will happen. The world will just think that this generation's Celestial Emperor is stronger than the Yao Emperor, and then the heavenly palace will mock Mount Tianyao. That's all. Lin Xian nodded. I understand. Lose? Then he didn't want to lose. No matter what the motive was, Lin Xian felt that losing was an irresponsible act. Of course, if it only had something to do with Lin Xian, then Lin Xian felt that it didn't matter. But now, this matter was related to his master, Yuli's reputation, right? No matter how little it was still related, right? Therefore, Lin Xian had to win. Is there anything I need to pay attention to? Lin Xian asked. There's not much to pay attention to. When the time comes, there will be many experts from the demon race. Almost the entire demon race will pay attention to this matter. There will also be many experts from the demon race who will go over. You just need to pay attention to yourself. Yuli knew what Lin Xian's situation was regarding the demon race, and she hated him very much. But there are still many people in the demon race who are more open-minded. They are neutral, so they don't think there's anything wrong with this matter. On the contrary, many of them will admire you very much. Just fight your own battle. Lin Xian nodded. I understand. Then I'll prepare. Go ahead. That you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.